Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Journeys to Belonging. On this episode, I have someone that I've known probably for about a year or so, and we've known each other on social media. Normally, we're in the same time zones, but because I'm visiting my family in the US, we're not in the same time zone right now. So it's evening there and morning here for me. But Anna and I met online as Wakelet ambassadors, and I asked her to co-host a Twitter chat that we used to do for Wakelet. So impressed that she's so active with her students and especially supporting teachers globally. And Anna Dyagileva, I am so excited to have you here with me today.
Oh my gosh, Aline, I'm so excited. I told you that I feel myself so ecstatic and honored to be a guest on your amazing podcast platform. And I loved all the guests that have already shared with the beautiful stories. I told you that, I remember. And thank you for inviting me. That's incredible. This is a new experience to me, actually, recording podcasts. So I really appreciate that.
Yes, although you are getting really experienced at doing live shows, one of which I was on, which I was
Yeah.
really excited about, doing professional development for teachers. I think you do it once a week.
Oh, yeah, I try. I struggle with this timing, so I want to be
Yes.
organized, but I try to make this serious. I think 1 month I'm super active, and 1 month I just need to relax for sure,
Sure.
because yeah, I
It's a
spent
lot. I know.
energy
It's a lot
on
of
this.
preparation. I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
you
I
you
do.
know,
And
yeah, you know that.
and I know you want to do it well. So, and I didn't really say that much about, I mean, I sort of hinted at where you are, but I really didn't say much about you. So please introduce yourself to our listeners.
So I'm a language teacher and I teach English to primary to secondary school learners. So I'm out school teacher and I don't like teach at public school. I didn't have this experience much, but I work with my colleagues. I support them. I know their pains. Um, I just want to make it on my own way because I know that at our local schools, I can't do things or I can't provide project-based learning to my students. I can't use Microsoft tools or even some of the Google educational tools to, yeah, there's a sort of problem. So I love PBL. I'm PBL lover. I'm a founder of Teachers Love Edu. I can say so these days
Mhm.
like this. And I run private linguistic studio online these days, English Club community. And I'm originally from Russia, from the edge of the earth. And I was born in the area where there are 9 months of winter. And I can see for sure many times during this winter period, the northern lights. I'm so lucky with it, but I hate
Beautiful.
being in cold areas so much. But now I'm in Kyiv and I want to move there. It's closer to the center of Russia. So it's like one
Mhm.
night by train to Moscow if you want to get to Moscow. And yeah, so what else? I just
Yeah.
not sure what can share else. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's terrific. Yeah, so now we know where you are and what you're currently doing, and my questions will kind of get into a little bit more about you. So the first question I usually ask my guests, Anna, is if I say the word belonging or feeling a sense of belonging, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Of course, family and community. These words are so essential and meaningful to me. My family always supports me, and community. When you, it's like the feeling when you support each other. It's really important, especially those 2 last years. I think I can say so. It was really important, and
Right.
I got so tremendous amount of feedbacks and um, these words of thank you and requests, suggestions, advice from from Edu friends, they call them like this, from across the
Nice.
globe. And I can feel this power. I'm so inspired by this idea. I feel I myself am so empowered. And I'm so thankful to Wakelet community, Fully Great Family community, and
Right.
Bansi, because these are Microsoft, of course, educational platforms. So many friends
Mhm.
I found there. Skype in the classroom. I can name so many amazing communities that I was a part of and I'm still a part of. And I'm so
Mhm.
proud to be a part of
Yeah. And,
these
I think
communities.
that you and I, being in sort of remoter places, like me in Kuwait normally, and you where you are in Russia, having those communities to reach out to globally, especially as a teacher, but in any profession, is so important. And I really encourage, and I'm sure you do too, encourage people to get involved with communities online. Sometimes it's a bit daunting and a bit overwhelming, but once you get used to it and you're able to manage your time, I agree, Anna. It's so important for anyone, even if you're in a community where you have a lot of people
Absolutely.
around you, right? Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's so true. Family and community. I love those words associated with belonging. So
Yeah.
the next question I'd like to ask more personally about you is, I think listeners would be really interested in learning more about your life in Russia. And I read the story that you sent me, the information you sent me about your background. You have so many connections to belonging, personal and professional. I'd love for you to share it with those who are listening. So, what about your life sort of centered you on this idea that family and community is really important? So, sort of going into your past a little bit and your journey to belonging.
Oh my gosh.
It's a
Yeah.
lot, I know. So pick
Yeah.
what you want to from
Yeah.
that.
I can
Yes.
share. I can share, of course.
Sure.
Yeah, since I was born in the age of the earth, my mom, she was born in Uzbekistan. It was part of USSR, in the capital of this beautiful country, Tashkent. And thanks to this moment, I tried the most amazing food, I guess. Yeah, I'm a food lover. And I
Yum.
know what plov is, Monty, and I was brought in a big family because my mom, she's the third, so she's the youngest in
Mm.
the family of three children.
Mhm.
She has got elder brothers, and she was brought by her parents and grandparents. So I saw my great grandparents, and it
Wow.
was amazing because we had beautiful meals all together, dinners. It was fantastic. And then I got the sense of belonging, of big family. But I discovered in the north of Russia, and it was tough time when I was born.
Mm.
My dad, he committed suicide when I was
Oh,
around
I'm
three
so
years.
sorry
So
to hear. Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah, and it was tough time in Russia because of
Mm.
these. So it was the end of the USSR, and
Mhm.
um, inflation and all of these things happen.
Oh,
Um, Many people, they drank a lot, and so many men, they're like
mm.
they were suffering because of the alcohol and all of these things. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
tough
Life
time.
was very hard there. Yes. Mm.
Yeah, I do remember this because all of these people, they were students who just
Mm.
graduated, and they were separated across Russia by institutes or universities these days.
Mm.
And my mom, she was studying in Moscow, and then she was brought to the age of the earth, as I call this area, and
Mhm.
Yamal Peninsula, if you want to Google
Mhm.
this. Yeah, for those who doesn't know where I'm from. So
Right.
and then I think it was great because at school I met some teachers who showed me the way and who pointed
Right.
out my strengths, and
Mhm.
I knew that I've got abilities in remembering words really well. I even had the sense of we did have like 2 years of German, but I'm
Mhm.
so bad at it. Just a little amount of just few numbers of lessons we had there. But when my teacher, she named the words in German and we didn't know them, she said, you need just to try to guess, what do you think, what do you feel about this word? She said, I remember this word, sorry about my German pronunciation, klein, and so it meant like little or small, you know, and I just dropped this out so that it's little or small. I don't remember, so sorry about that. And she said, yeah, that's correct, it's yours. You got this feeling, you've got this sense. Yeah, you can predict, or I forgot how she called this skill exactly. And I was empowered by these words. Just imagine, she told this in front of the class, and I felt myself like I'm a superwoman or a super girl.
How old were you? Do you remember what grade or how old
at the
you were?
6th grade, I guess, 6th grader.
Can you imagine all this time you still remember that?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, this was one of the highlights. Of course, I skipped the 4th grade because we were like we had deeper learning of some subjects in my class, and of course there were languages, history, and I guess literature. Yeah, so I loved literature, poetry, and everything about languages, idiomas, and etc. Yeah. So I felt this power, and at university everything brought me to the place where I needed to highlight my skills, like to communicate, to translate, to teach someone. My family, they always told me, Anna, please don't go don't become a teacher. It's tough, especially don't go to school. Yes, because probably because of the school condition that time, or anything. I'm not sure. They wanted to care a lot about me, I guess. But you know, God works in a mysterious way.
Teaching isn't an easy job. It's true. It's even in the best conditions, teaching, if you want to do it well, is a lot of work. But yes, like you said, there's a plan.
Yes, and it's mysterious too. And I think that everyone has got some sort of power, and you just need to follow this. And no matter the fact what people will tell you, just carry on. And if you're not sure, your destiny will showcase it anyway, because you will feel it. It's really interesting. And I'm a team player. I know that because I was a captain in volleyball team at university, because when I just appeared there, our teacher or trainer / trainer, he told us, oh, you're good, you're going to be there. And our team was great because there were lots of players, but we weren't pro. And I described you the situation when we met with another team accidentally. Again, we had just PE lesson there, and they were amazing. But I don't know what had happened to us. We decided to win, and everyone did what he could the best. And it was one of the highlights too. I'm so sorry, I'm not a native speaker. You probably lost the line of what I want to say.
No, it's great. You're weaving it all in together. You're doing a great job, Anna.
Thank you so much. You're so kind. Yeah, Eileen, thank you. So it was the moment of our star hour, I call this like this. And I do remember we were so inspired by the fact that we won some pros. You know, we were just we enjoyed playing, but we couldn't even imagine that we could win them. It was incredible. So I really love being a part of the community, because I don't want to pull everything on my side only. I want to do what I like doing, and I want that others like share with their passions what they really like teaching about or learning about. And that's what my point is. It's absolutely it's really meaningful. Of course, the rest of the part of my educational journey is interesting, because I came to teaching only when I got my 3rd diploma. I finally did it when I had my own money. So I just decided to be there to have this. But anyway, I was teaching in intuitive way because I had this. I love this. And when you know the techniques, it's especially when you know that you feel yourself like more confident, and it must be done. So you really need to be educated and in this area. But I started because I love this first.
Yeah. Oh, I can tell. So the two things that I want to talk about, I want to go back a little bit to this volleyball team experience that you had and look at the different components that you sort of touched on, because I think it's so important for people to hear and learn from. So you had a group, a team who weren't very good skill-wise against a team you happened to go up against who you all knew were a pro. I'm assuming that they had won many games and tournaments and things like that. So they were an awarded team. And rather than feeling, oh, you know, we're not going to be able to do this, you each decided, and then as a group came together and said, we're just going to have fun and do the best we can.
Yes, absolutely.
Feel proud of that. And in the end, it helped you win. So I'd love for you to just go back a little bit, if you can remember, and sort of think of how did the team get together like that? Because you can't just get onto the floor and then come together as a team. So what sort of built that team spirit up to feel that confidence and then be able to communicate? Because volleyball, you need to communicate with each other, because if you can't, the ball goes everywhere and it doesn't go where you want it to go. So how did that work? What was your coach like, or what were the teammates like?
Oh, I myself, I've got really, I'm not sure how it's called in volleyball, like float or pass, you know, when I go at the position where you need just to throw the ball with all your strength. Oh, I'm so powerful at this one. So I dropped 10 per like one set from my side only. And my team, they saw that, whoa, we could do it. So she could do it and we can do it too. We can try to do our best, because I was really bad at, you know, the techniques of passing the ball on our field, but I was really good when I need to pass and drop the ball to the opposite field. And I knew who is really great with this passing on our field thing, and we just had a little chat. So everyone decided to do, as I mentioned before, to do the best that they could do. And I just empowered them with the thing that I dropped so many goals on the opponent's field. And it was inspiring to them, and that's why I was a leader at the team. But literally, my experience with passing on the field was really small one. I wasn't pro at all. I just told you I did what I could the best that time, and that's what the power
you believed in yourself, right?
That's true.
That's all about the self-efficacy and the self-belonging that I talk about. Once you believe in yourself, there's so many things that
and one more thing I just want to add, that when I pull myself, or put my hand up just because I wanted to drop this ball really hard, the team was a little bit, they were really scared. And when we saw this picture, when we saw this picture, my team and I myself, we were like, you know, okay, you are afraid, so you're scared, and we can make you. So anyway, it's just
that's so interesting. You know, coming together as a team isn't easy. It doesn't matter what kind of team you are, whether it's a sports team or whatever. So this is a really, really good lesson for everyone. And then you sort of, I want to get into your journey. So your journey to teaching was a work of heart, really a passion project for you. It obviously wasn't easy for you, but you persevered. Why are you so passionate about teaching? And how has that passion led you to make global connections? So firstly, how did you sort of follow that path, something that even your family was sort of discouraging you from doing? And how do you feel about it now and in the next steps with your global connections?
Oh, I think teachers, that's a group of people who always learn and who are who always learn, because it's true. We are
Right.
super hard workers, and we think not only about ourselves, which we should do like more times
More often,
per
yes.
day, more often for sure. Yes, digital self-care and yeah. And I think this is something good that you need, that you can do to this world. You know, when you do something impactful, you feel yourself. I personally, it's my opinion. I feel myself happy. When I feel, when I get this sense of happiness, it's the most pleasant thing that can happen to anyone. When you see your students improvements or their achievements, it's great. When you see your personal achievement, it's great too, because we are like students. We're still students because we
Yes.
learn as a yes, I told you that learning never stops, and
It
that's
shouldn't, for
it's
sure.
great. It's great when you
Yeah.
got new connections. You can learn more things that you just can. You can stop and you can do nothing, but you won't learn a thing. And about global connection, just want to mention that we're all different, and there are so many amazing people across the globe in different countries. And I learned so many things, new things. I always tell this to my students, because I've started this global connections because of them. I wanted to show, because I've traveled, I've seen that people are awesome, they are different, and it's great. I always like this, because we're all different. I would die if I would live in a world where everyone is like robot, or we look it's so boring. And I try to show them that the world is so full of a number of things. I'm sure we should all be as happy as kings. Yeah, Robert Louis Stevenson. And they were, I saw their reactions, and this thing really inspired me too. So as I mentioned, learning something new is great. This is amazing. And if you can share with anyone, you can teach, or just if you can make anyone happier or support, it's incredible. I remember just want to show to tell you the story of Wakelet Community Week #2 this year. At the very end of this session with Leticia and myself, I was so happy. I can't describe you. When I was reading all the comments, and I was smiling like, but I had this feeling of absolute happiness. I can't describe it. When you do things, you don't pay attention too much what you do, or really it was like this to me, especially last year, where doing things and no mindfulness, nothing. You just work on, you create, you share, you do, you teach, you learn, and it's like the circle of things that are happening and never ends. And I got this feeling, and I was, my mom, and we were in their recreation place. We were just relaxing. But when they saw me with my daughter after the session, they they told me, "You're so happy." What has happened to you? Yeah, because
that's such a great feeling, to be satisfied, but also be gratified what you had presented really resonated with people who are watching, because we never know how people are going to react.
Yes,
it might be something we're interested in, but we have no idea if others are interested in it. So when you get that kind of reaction, it's like, but I think part of it also, just from my knowing you, is your passion, your complete love of what you do, which makes you happy to begin with. It's not something that you feel you have to do. It's something that you really want to do.
Yes, and these are opposites, absolutely, that you need or you want. If you don't have any passion, that's why I use this word a lot. You want to do it well, and you never find enough time to make it happen. of course, I'm still postponing so many things, so like courses or, but when we talk about the connections, or when we talk about the, collaborations, I always have time for this. Like, this is something that I think that it's meaningful. And if I have a chance to learn from such amazing guest speakers like you are, Aline, you're incredible. You inspire so many minds that day, and mine just I just want to give you a shout out once again. It was amazing. The best thing that can happen, to learn from the best, the most passionate educators, and the community that I was studied. It was for passionate educators, not only how to call this, technology specialists, who created the designers, so they call them like this, or who created the platforms, but about the regular teachers, they never had any experience before going live, for instance, but they are passionate, and they've got great experience and with working on this platform, just for instance, or they've got the number of amazing projects that they're running with their students these days. Since it's amazing to learn from each other. We all got the backgrounds, as you call it, and this background is, for someone, it's like, for myself, I didn't know that it could be interesting, about me, to someone, especially to someone like you. And now I do. And some of the teachers who invited, they were, well, what can I share? I don't have anything. Oh, come on. You've got a lot of things. I heard you. I saw your post, or somewhere that I seen this person, amazing, inspiring person. And this is the most important thing.
Yes, it's really important. And the fact that you're able also to point out and to empower others to see their, I call them, superpowers, but they see their strengths. Sometimes we're so in it, we don't really see that could be something that would benefit someone else. I'd love for you, because you mentioned it sort of at the beginning, and you've just mentioned it again. What was the first app or community that you joined, and how did you get involved? I know you said you're part of Buncee and Wakelet and Flipgrid and Microsoft Educators, but what sort of was the first one? And just for people who are listening and say, well, I'm not sure if I really should get involved. I've learned this, but I'm not sure if I should get involved in the community.
Yeah, as you mentioned to Aline, you said that it takes some time. Yeah, it did take me so much time, but this time I spent not in vain. And I started, I think, from Skype in the Classroom platform. It was the it was on Facebook, one of the Facebook groups, I guess. And as I mentioned, I started it because of my students. We had the very first language taster activity with students from, oh my gosh, now I forgot. I remember this. Okay, I will remember, I will tell you. Because I always remember our first connections. It just, today is the day. And then I guess it was everything about Microsoft education. So I decided to become Microsoft expert. I thought that I could take it. I don't remember. I can't tell you why I decided, because of what platform. Maybe I was suggested by one of the educators with whom we had the connections on Skype. He asked me why. Oh no, I had the registration on Microsoft educational platform, but he asked me, Anna, what's wrong with your profile picture? There is a cat, where is your face? I was like this that time, we are from Russia, we're a little bit not so social communicated, but sometimes we do this. Maybe it's not only our feature, but I had it. And he asked me, what's wrong with you? I thought, is it so important? He asked me, you're okay, I saw you, why don't you want to be with your face on? Do you have anything to that you don't want to mention? Or I thought, no, of course. I decided, and it was really good advice, because to be with your face on to the world is really important. I always tell this to my students, to my colleagues, because the picture of some woman or man or anyone, it's not really cool on your profile. You are unique, yeah, and we need to support our individuals. So then everything about Microsoft I was interested in, and then Flipgrid community happened. It was unusual. I was totally interested in this platform. It was unique, and I remember my students and I were sitting in front of the computer in our grid. That time it called like this, and it was the very first student voice a day for us, and we had recorded the video. We recorded the video, then we saw our video popped up next to the thousands of videos there from classrooms across the globe. We were shocked. I was so excited, and I remember that I was jumping, and it was great, this feeling of that you are part of something meaningful and global. It's great.
Yes, and I bet because you're in you know, sort of a remote area or an area where you don't get to connect you yourself and your students, it's such a benefit. And the fact that we have that advantage to be able to make those connections, if we don't take advantage of them, it's almost as if we're missing a big part of what we could be showing our students. Especially, I imagine there are students who would never get to travel out of the area where they are. You know, even though you've traveled, there may be others who haven't or don't have the ability to do that for whatever the reason. And so being able to see and meet others, and also just the awesome idea that your video with, you know, myself as a student who's somewhere here in Russia has been, you know, played with others, and people are watching it. Were they keeping track of how many people
views,
actually?
The number of views, views, hearts. That time there were hearts like this, and it was great, you know.
That's terrific. Anna, this has been wonderful. Is there anything else that I didn't ask you about that you wanted to tell our listeners about?
Of course, Dan, I just want to mention that Wakelet community happened, and it was great because I didn't know that it's such amazing thing, because I was asked by Callum, I remember, to translate the teacher's guide in Russian, and that time I learned a little bit deeper about what Wakelet is, and I loved it. I sent it out to all my family, to my friends.
Really?
Try it, it's incredible. And then I provided so many tutorials on Wakelet, and I'm still in love with these platforms. And of course, Bunsey is a great team, and it was another history because my students went live. They presented live on Bunsey, and it was an incredible experience to them, and for me, I was this is empowering. This is what everyone needs to feel. And if you want to have leaders, if you want to teach leaders, so this is an amazing way to show them, show them the way, that they can do this. It was great because even teachers, they are so afraid to go live, and now students, and I just show them that they can do it. It must be planned, everything must be planned, of course, but we did it.
Right. You know, it's really interesting. It's I agree. It's almost a feeling it's hard to describe. You know, it's sort of in there, but it's you can't put words to it because it's such a good feeling. Well, that's terrific, Anna. This has been wonderful. I'm so excited to share your story with our listeners and let them feel empowered by it. Where can people find you if they want to look for you?
Oh, of course, I run my YouTube channel. So if you want to find me,
Mhm.
you can find me Anna Dyagileva, or you can find there lots of tutorials on in English and in Russian. And also on Instagram, on Twitter, I've got the same handle, Anna Dyagileva 1, and on
Mm.
Facebook. So I think I'm everywhere these days. I Yeah, I would really appreciate if you give me a follow. Thank you so much, Eileen. I really appreciate, and I'm honored again to be here, to be your guest. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share with my story. And
Yes,
thank
thank
you.
you so much. Thank you so much, Anna. And all of that information about how to connect with Anna will be in the show notes too. And make sure you do tune into her YouTube channel, because there is some awesome professional learning that you can find there on her channel. And definitely follow her. Anna,
Thank you.
thank you again. This was just so wonderful. I hope someday we're able to see each other in person, but in the
Yay.
meantime, this is
Fingers
this is
crossed.
this is really awesome also. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.